What strange behavior did you pick up out of habit as a result of a job? Yelling, behind, when I almost walk into someone in public. It's one of those things where if you've never worked in a kitchen, you're just like, gosh, what's that guy's problem? The restaurant I worked at had a lot of blind corners, so corner was shouted all too often even after months after leaving that job. I work in a nursing home where 95% of the population can't hear shit. It was pointed out to me by my brother the other day that I basically scream when I talk because I'm so used to interacting with old people. Now I'm really self-conscious about it. My mom worked in a factory and shouted conversation at home too. We'd beg her to tone it down, she'd remember to for about 4 minutes. I've been working in a lab for a couple of years now. When you accidentally drop a beaker or something falls off the bench, it's a terrible idea to reach out to grab it. You could smash it or whatever is in it could spill on you. You learn to reflexively avoid grabbing things. I've had my phone slip out of my hand and my only reaction was to step back and stare at it as it hit the pavement. I do that when I drop a knife. A falling knife has no handle. After working in healthcare, I now sanitize my hands after doing almost anything, just out of habit. I'm a zookeeper. I cannot leave a door or padlock without checking it at least twice. It makes my fiancée crazy when we go away. Working security, I would chug bottles of water, other beverages as quickly as possible so as not to carry around a partially consumed beverage. I still finish most bottles like water and Gatorade all at once. What's wrong with carrying a partially consumed beverage? It appears lax. Most companies have this rule. For security, it could be that the higher-ups feel like it diminishes the effectiveness of having a crime deterrent. For retail, it's because if the employees are drinking tea and lemonade, then it appears unprofessional and customers will feel like they're not getting 5-star service. Doesn't make sense? Doesn't matter. Finish your coffee and get back out on the floor. I caption phone calls for the deaf and hard of hearing via voice recognition software. I repeat verbatim everything that is said for 40 to 45 hours a week. I was informed recently that I sometimes move my lips while listening intently to someone speak. It is subtle and I don't even realize I'm doing it. On the other hand, I can trigger severe confusion by repeating everything someone says a half second after they do. Reduces people to a stammering mess most of the time, and my drunk friends do not appreciate it one bit. Eating fast. I know it's unhealthy, but I used to work in a call center, and our breaks were very limited. To be able to also have enough time to smoke a ciggy afterwards, I would eat really fast. I haven't been working there for 2 years, but I still eat like a paranoid caveman. My boyfriend eats so fast because apparently their high school had 30-minute lunches including passing periods. When we eat together, I always feel like a fat ass because 10 minutes after he's done, I'm still chowing down. I used to work at a Disney store before I got my current job. Boo for quitting my fun job and getting a grown-up job. At Disney, you're always cheery, positive, and basically like the Energizer Bunny with an energy drink. You are always supposed to smile and be talkative, helpful. Most jobs expect you to be a cheerful, but Disney was a whole other level. So imagine my coworker's patrons looks at my new job when I answer the phone like the sun is shining out of my ass, and I always have a smile plastered to my face. It was definitely a habit I picked up that was a little too over the top for my workplace. Luckily it has subsided a bit, and am more laid back now, but wow, I was entertaining those few months. I worked at Disney World 15 years ago, and still can't point using only one finger. I don't get it. I've never been to Disney. Do you point with your whole hand? Is this mandated by company policy? Yes. It's either with 2 fingers or the whole hand. Evidently the one-fingered point is rude in some cultures, so they play it safe and it was a strict policy. I had something very similar to this but wasn't from retail. I work in IT and had a job at a college where I just took calls in a back room with a few other coworkers that I could rant to. Now, as you may expect, there are some dumb calls, but most of them don't bother me and I am always happy to help. Every once in a while I get those calls that are just beyond comprehension and I spend an hour trying to explain to someone a simple task. So after I hang up the call, I start going on this huge rant to one of my coworkers to blow off steam, and then the phone rings again. Without missing a beat, I pick up the phone and in a bright, calm, and just happy voice I respond, "Thank you for calling the service desk. How can I help you?" I stunned my coworker the first time I did that because of how quick the change was. Several years ago, I worked at a small print shop which was housed in an old building. The women's restroom been retrofitted in by throwing up some walls and using wood panels to create 2 toilet stalls, and each stall had a long curtain in front instead of a door. Obviously, you can't lock or latch a curtain. Whenever one of us was using a stall and someone else came into the bathroom, we'd call out, "First one," or "Second one," so whoever it was would know if a stall was already occupied. Cue me, in a public restroom at a store, calling out, "First one," when someone else came into the restroom. I work in a call center, and as a result I have got very used to communicating everything I need to without relying on body language. It freaks people out sometimes that I do everything vocally instead of relying on body language. Not sure whether it counts, but active listening. Before I started to work in a call center, I was the kind of person who never appeared to pay attention even when I did. That's odd. I feel like working at a call center listening to people's stupid ads complaints all day would more hone someone's ability to multitask while only half listening. Dog trainer. Especially partway through the day, I will respond to conversations the way I would respond to a dog doing what I want. My sentences become shorter. I will be back around 3 and we can get lunch. Yes. Good. To so, good boy. I am a chemist and need to obsessively label containers with their contents. Also, I write on stuff with Sharpie, thinking I can just wipe it off with acetone later. Gladly just on glass and ceramics. I used to work for a big fast food chain, 3 locations in 3 cities within 6 years. There was a lot of shouting of important information between the tills and kitchens, and you had to pay attention and keep up. Now I can't tune it out, and whenever I visit one of their locations I end up eavesdropping. It's not even interesting stuff, but I can't stop. My habit from the restaurant I picked up was saying, "Heard," in response to everything. Still do it to this day, especially if I don't have any sort of meaningful response to add to someone's statement. I'll still say, "Heard," to let them know I'm not ignoring them. I work as a lifeguard in the summer, and I always get an overwhelming urge to tell random children to stop running. Cleaning. After 20+ years in culinary, everything must be clean. Kitchen counters, knives, cutting boards, my refrigerator. I'm not OC about it. I just keep a spray bottle of bleach and water and clean up as I go. My husband worked food services for a couple of years. Now things in the kitchen are a little different. He won't let me keep food after a certain amount of hours, and he expects us both to be able to function in unison in our tiny galley kitchen. I am not a team player. Get out. I worked at a daycare that had a very strict teacher-child ratio, and it became second nature to constantly count the kids. Then I started teaching in an actual school and realized quickly that my students are old enough to not need to keep track of unless on a field trip. During my first placement, the teacher I was working with would point it out every time she saw my eyes scanning to make sure all the students were there. Not a bad habit, just not necessary anymore. Teacher here. I scan every single store and restaurant I walk into looking for any students from school that I may know. I've run into kids in other cities, so I do it everywhere I go. As a kindergarten teacher, I tied students' shoes all day. Now I might tie a random stranger's shoe if I notice it untied. Drives my family crazy. Sexing various critters by sight. Yep, that Anoli is a female. Oh, don't be scared of that spider. It's just a poor little boy looking for a mate in your office. Ah, look at that cute little girl shark. I'm a dog groomer and I can't meet a dog without judging its haircut or how it would behave for a groom. Also gained a lot of prejudice towards certain breeds names dogs are given. I'm a vet tech and our clinic does grooming. I have come to loathe people who buy dogs that need regular grooming but just shrug it off and sent their pet in for its annual shave down. I have seen so many dogs and cats that are solid mats full of dirt, fleas, and literally caked on piss and shit. I have no fucking idea how anyone could love that pet or have it in their damn house with it in that condition. People are disgusting. Had a job that paid piecework. The more work you got done, the more you got paid. I was so bad at first I was making less than minimum wage and was convinced I wouldn't get much better. But I realized how much money I could make and committed myself not only to get better, but to out-earn everybody else. I practiced at home and did exercises that helped with certain parts of the job. I observed those who were quicker and incorporated their methods. A few months and I was making 15 per hour more than the average, some who had been working there for years. By the time I left, I was making the most money per hour by a landslide. Since that job, I've realized a few things. The beginning is always the worst. No matter how daunting a task or skill appears at first, if you keep with it, you can always improve. Now, with any new job or hobby I'm passionate about, I try to be the best. Not just the best I can be, but the best. I'm continually observing, learning from those better than me, and trying to come up with creative new ways to surpass them. It's exhausting. After working in bookstores for 10 years, I instinctively realphabetize books that are out of place in bookstores, and sometimes start alphabetizing people's personal book or DVD collections. Surprisingly, this bugs the shit out of most people when I do it. My husband and I have been married 20 plus years, and we still have not merged our CD collections because he refuses to alphabetize his. What habit stuck with you from work? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.